in defense of barbells. No, I'm trying to be serious. I can't be serious. Fuck this. I can't be serious. In defense of barbells, though, and I'm half serious, but like, how pissed off am I actually that people don't like barbells? Like, congratulations on being a pussy. Keep being a pussy. Um, like, really. Okay, so here's the deal. I have heard multiple takes from various people, whether it's, I don't know, I guess his name's like Eugene, is it Teo? Teo? Someone shared something from Paul Carter, some guy, I think his name's Cassim or something like that, and then these different experts are saying, oh, barbells aren't the best way to train. Okay. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that barbells are the best way to train for what? For everything. Let's take a look at this. Are barbells the best way to train for what? Like, that's the question you have to answer. I can't answer that question for you because I don't know what your activity is. So, if you are, say, I don't know, trying to get the biggest quads in the entire world, maybe you're not built to squat, so maybe you have to do leg extensions. And if you want to get the biggest hamstrings in the world, maybe deadlifts aren't the best way for you to do it. You should be doing hamstring curls or something like that, right? You want the world's biggest biceps, so maybe you should be doing some type of dumbbell curl instead of doing a barbell curl, right? Sure, whatever. Thanks, biomechanics nerd. But here's the deal, and this is the reason why I'm going to defend barbells. The reason why people stick with barbell training: you can load it progressively. The movements are basic. The movements are compound. You spend less time fucking around with 8 different exercises and you can just squat. And the biggest reason of all, come in real close, I'm gonna let you in on a secret here. Most people don't have the money nor the space to put a fucking leg press, hack squat, leg extension, hamstring curl, pendulum squat, etc. in their fucking basement or their garage. So the majority of people training at home and things like that, they're training with a barbell because that's what they have space for. You can buy a couple squat stands and a barbell. What? Yeah, it's way cheaper. You can pick it up on, I don't even care, whatever website you want. They got a ton of them now. You don't even have to just go to Rogue. It used to be like Rogue was one of the only places you could find them for a while. Before that, of course, everyone was buying them from like Again Faster and Muscle Driver, and I started out with a Penley barbell. Like, that was the first barbell that I bought, like, for myself. Don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, my parents, had plenty of other barbells. We had York and Cap and all this stuff like that. But the first barbell I ever bought for myself was a Penley bar. Anyways, point being, that's why barbells are awesome. You can afford one. In fact, let me touch in on a little story here. We're going down memory lane. I bought my first barbell, and all I had was a barbell, 245s and 225s. So for me to do squats, I had to clean it first, then press it overhead, and then lower it down to my back, and then I would just be like, I'm going to squat this for as many reps as I can so I don't have to clean it again. Yeah. Like, that's how I trained. And it worked. It worked just fine. Okay? Like, there was nothing wrong with doing that. And, you either were snatching with the 25s, so you're doing snatches with 95 for lots of reps, and then you'd put the 45s on and snatch it for, maybe singles or doubles. I wasn't, a great weightlifter or anything, so you had to get really good at 95 before you went up to 135, and you had to get really good with 135 before you jumped to 185. I actually think there's a benefit to this. I think that's, I don't know what everyone will call it. You had to put a lot of reps in and get really strong at 135 before you put 185 on the bar. Point being, in defense of barbell training, I can buy a barbell, a couple squat stands, and now I can do squats, I can do front squats, I can do overhead squats, I can do presses, I can do push presses, I can do jerks, I can do any type of row you can think of. I can do bend over rows, I can do rows from the floor, I can do Pendlay rows, I can do deadlifts, I can do RDLs, I can do stiff-legged deadlifts, there are so many movements you can do with nothing but a barbell and some plates. You don't even have to have bumpers. If you want to do cleans and snatches, I recommend you get bumpers, but otherwise you can just get regular plates. In defensive barbell training, this is so basic. Just basic compound lifts, and it's cheap, it's affordable, it's accessible. You don't have to have a lot of space for it either. Like, can you imagine putting a leg press in your basement along with, a hack squat machine, and, now you have a leg extension machine and a hamstring curl machine, and, while you're at it, you gotta go get like some type of chest press machine, you got some kind of lat pull down machine, and holy cow, like you could spend a fortune. Like, how big is your fucking basement or your garage? In defense of barbell training is the best way to train, because why? Because it makes training accessible for more people. Have you ever looked at how expensive it is to buy a rack of dumbbells? That's ridiculous. Buy a whole rack of dumbbells. Even these adjustable dumbbells, they're crazy expensive. I can buy a barbell and some plates for cheaper than that. So, in defense of barbell training, the reason why barbell training is awesome is because it's accessible. You can actually afford it. And you know what? You're going to make a ton of progress. I've never heard someone be like, man, I made so much more progress doing leg extensions than I did doing squats. Because the reality is, and I don't care how you feel about this, say you are a high-level bodybuilder and now you do all this machine stuff, I bet you built your physique initially doing squats. You did squats, you did deadlifts, you did bench presses. Yeah, I know. People are like, well, Jay Cutler doesn't do bench presses. He does dumbbell bench presses. He does incline dumbbell, whatever. Yeah. And I will bet you that when he first started out, he was doing just straight up regular flat bench press with a barbell. Oh, well, this bodybuilder over here, so-and-so, does this really fancy single leg whatever thing with some type of machine. And it's like, yeah, and I bet he built his physique, though, doing barbell squats. So-and-so has this great hamstring machine. Yep. And I bet he started out doing deadlifts. So even when you look at these high-level bodybuilders who are maybe at the point where now they have to do very specific lat work and very specific shoulder work to bring up their rear delt specifically because their front delt is too strong, it's like, okay, but I bet that guy started out just doing pull-ups. Like, that's probably how he built his lats, was pull-ups and deadlifts, and probably overhead presses and things like that to build his delts. Yeah, now he needs to bring in these finer details so he can step on the stage for the Olympia. But I will bet across the board, most of your top level bodybuilders, lifters, etc., started out with just basic barbell movements. Sorry, folks. I know you hate this, and I'm really going to upset you now, but Mark Repetto was kind of right. Like, he kind of pointed out, like, all you got to do is just get your squat way up, and you're going to look bigger. Like, get your deadlift way up, and you're going to look bigger. Like, you don't see a whole lot of guys who deadlift 600 pounds and don't look like they lift. Like, I haven't seen it. If you know someone out there who deadlifts 600 and they look like they don't even lift, I don't know what to tell you. They might be the exception to the rule. But otherwise, when I see dudes squatting 405, deadlifting 500, I'm like, yeah, that guy looks like he lifts. Does he look like he's an elite level lifter? Does he look like he's going to step on the stage for the Olympia? No, but he certainly looks like a guy that lifts weights. So that's my defensive barbell training. I don't know why people are shitting on it.